Chapter 1. What might we learn from this? God graciously fit prophets for persons and his word to a people that are honest in their hearts. Where there is a true desire to know the will of God, there God will give men sincere prophets that will answer them exactly, not according to their own lusts, but for their good. Josiah was a holy man, who, out of a gracious disposition, desirous to be informed from God that should become of him and his people, sent to the prophetess Huldah. It was God's mercy that he should have Huldah, a Jeremiah, to send to, and it was God's mercy that they should deal faithfully with him. This is God's mercy to those that are true-hearted. He gives them teachers suitable to their desires. But those that are false-hearted will have suitable teachers who will instruct them according to their lusts. If they be like Ahab, they will have 400 false prophets to teach falsehoods to please their lusts. But if they are David's, they will have Nathans. If they be Josiah's, they will have Huldah's and Jeremiah's. Indeed, Herod may have had John the Baptist, but what did he do with him when John rebuked him for his sin? This should teach us to labour for sincerity and to have our hearts turned towards God. Then he will send us men of a direct and right spirit who will teach us according to his own heart. But if we are deceptive, God will give us teachers that will teach us not according to his will, but to please our own. We shall light upon gluttons and epicures, and will fall into the hands of priests and Jesuits. Whoever these are, there are the judgments of God upon the people, because they did not desire to know the will of God in truth. We see in Ezekiel chapter 14 and verses 3 and 4 that the people desired to have a stumbling block for their iniquity. They were naught and would have idols. Therefore they desired stumbling blocks. They would have false prophets so that they might go to hell with some authority. So God in turn responded, "Any man of the house of Israel who sets up his idol in his heart, puts right before his face the stumbling block of his iniquity, and then comes to the prophet, I, Yahweh, will be brought to give him an answer in light of it, in light of the multitude of his idols." What brought the greatest judgment upon the world next to hell itself? I mean Antichrist, the terriblest judgment of all, that has drawn so many souls to hell. But the wickedness of the place and people and his own ambition. The sins of the people give life to him. They could not endure the word of God or plain dealing. They thought it a simple thing. They must have more sacrifices, more ceremonies, and a more glorious government. They would not be content with Christ's government which he left them, but were weary of this. Therefore, having gone to heaven, they must have a pope to go before them and lead them to hell. Let man never excuse those sins, for certainly God saw a great deal of evil in them and gave them up to the judgment of the Antichrist. But let us magnify God's mercies that have not given up on us. Thus we may say how graciously God deals with a true-hearted king. He sends him a true answer to his message.